Hey everybody, Canadagraphs here with some set video from the upcoming movie Sonic the Hedgehog 2. It was filming downtown Vancouver over several days. There's no actors as far as I know on set, just a lot of stunts. But there's some interesting stunts. This first one here is just a truck driving down the street. You can see the camera on the front there, so this is kind of supposed to be like a first-person view of something. Driving down the street, you can see like a food truck and a festival set up down there at the end of the street, but whoever or whatever that is that was driving down the street towards it, that camera on the front is supposed to give the impression of a first-person view. So here's a stunt with a security truck. You're going to see blowing by all the cops there, and the cops are going to be chasing it down the street. They did this scene quite a lot over the next few days in different parts of the area. This is the largest film set I can remember in quite a while. Here's another take of it, and yeah, if you didn't know, those things can move apparently. They did this scene with the cop cars chasing that security truck quite a few times over a few days, and in different parts of the area. Like they had I'd say maybe about 8 or 10 city blocks cordoned off at different points of the shoot for their scenes, and it was almost entirely for this chase, which you see a different angle of it here. I walked up to the top of the street to get it coming up the street, but wouldn't quite focus that well. You know, hard to get a camera to focus at night sometimes. Here it is. There's going to be an explosion in this scene, and I don't know why. Happened on both takes, but my camera starts to fuzz up right as the explosion happens, and that was a little annoying. So I don't know why. I wish I knew. But you can see the after effects there at the end, and this is the other take of it, and eventually okay, eventually they do actually go. And again, the same thing's going to happen when they do. Is I don't know what the trigger point was, but my camera decides to like fuzz out right as they're about to do the explosion part, and it's very frustrating. I don't know why. See, nice and clear, gets to about there, and all of a sudden, I don't know. But yeah, happened both times I tried to do that take. So I actually went and looked for a different position, but they didn't do that take again. Instead, they set up for a different scene after that didn't have the explosion. They just had a bunch of cars scattered along the street, and they had the first-person view camera out again. And this time, instead of going really fast, it did literally the exact opposite, and it went as slow as possible through this scene. Yeah, this is as fast as it went through the entire scene. So it's literally another minute of this truck going this slow. In fact, it took so long to do this scene, I actually stopped at one point and picked it up again a little bit later, because I was like, I don't need 3 minutes of this scene going on. So yeah, that was what they filmed the last night that I was there. They may have filmed some other stuff, but after this scene, after they did the explosion, I realized they weren't going to do the explosion again, because it was past their cutoff time for doing stuff like that. The city will only allow you to do certain things up till a certain time, and that's why I realized when I looked at the clock, I'm like, oh, that's why they changed to this scene, because they can't do the explosions anymore. So that's it for this Sonic report. If you decide to use any of the footage from this, you should ask me first, or I may have it taken down. I do not play around with DMCA notices, so ask first, and I will let you know how much, if any, you can use. Okay, so now we're going to move on to some still photos from these shoots. This is the truck that they used to do that first-person view that you saw in the earlier video. This is the clapperboard, which at the time I didn't realize was going to be such a big deal. Apparently people really were excited about the cinematographer Brandon Trost. I don't know why, but people really seemed fixated on that. There's the night market they had at the end of the street that the truck would drive towards in the scene. This is from the next night. These are the Seattle police cars they had set up that were part of that chase that you saw chasing the security truck. And they had 6 of them there. There's a little better shot. You can see all 6 of them. And what would happen is you saw obviously from the video, the truck would zip by and then they would start their chase. So, you know, they had that street entirely closed off for traffic. The entire area was closed off at times. Here's the truck. Here's the guy standing outside of it. He would be the guy that gives the driver the instructions on when he's ready to roll and needs to go. And there's the truck just parked off on the side of the road. It's the best shot I was able to get of it. So now you get a better idea how it looks when it's not zipping by at 100 miles an hour. Here's some photos I took from the other end of the street. After a couple of takes, I moved up there, and this is the end of the scene. The truck is just coming to a halt there, and the cop cars are stopped behind him. All that light at the back of the truck, that's from the lights on the cars, not an explosion or anything. There they are. All the cop cars also came to a stop in different spots along the way. It was kind of random that they just all of a sudden would stop in particular spots, but I'm sure in the scene it'll make sense. This is the shot from the other end of the street, looking at the way the scene was set up. You can see the truck on the one side, the cop cars on the other, so they can give time for the truck to get by. So, you know, this is just a little bit of that video over again, you know, just explaining some things I may have forgot, like, you know, like, for instance, like, all of these streets are closed down. They had massive setup, 8 or 10 blocks at a time in some areas are closed down so that they could do this scene so traffic wouldn't interrupt. So traffic would get held up at these corners. If there was a car there waiting, it would have had to wait, you know, sometimes 10 or 15 minutes to be able to go by while they do these stunts. And when it gets to the end of the street here, you can see, like, that's the end. You can see normal traffic going by, and they don't go any further than there because they don't have the permits to go further than that. So they would drive up to that far, and that would be the end of where they would do it, and then they would just move to a different area and do more of the take. When they were doing the explosion, they had to have this scene wrapped up by a certain time of night because of noise violations. So they would have to do these explosions kind of early in the evening. Like, they had to do them before, I think, 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. they had to be done by. So they actually did these explosions over 2 nights to make sure they could get what they wanted in, because they could only do it for such an amount of time. And that's a wrap on this. If I get any more sets in the future, you can find them in my blog, and that link will be in the description below. And thanks for coming by, and hopefully I will have some more for you soon. And if you're going to use any of this footage, please ask before you do. Bye.